Let me share a little secret with you. A lot of times when I head into Dollar Tree, I don't have any ideas yet. I just kind of go in there, walk around, find something that gives me inspiration, and then figure out a video. And my most recent Dollar Tree trip led me to something so random. These foam knee pads in their spring section. I grabbed a bunch of them, had no idea what I was gonna do with them, but I think I came up with some really genius ideas. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Shannon from thedailydiyWire.com, and we take Dollar Tree items, transform them into amazing home decor, organization, gift ideas, and more on the cheap. So if you love that kind of content, please subscribe, hang around as I bring you new videos here every single week. And now on to hacking and DIYing these foam knee pads. I have some great ideas, so let's get right into it. So our first knee pad DIY, you're also gonna need some spring stems. So again, from Dollar Tree, I picked up 5 stems in just some pretty colors that all kind of coordinate together. And we are gonna start filling this foam pad with all these pretty flowers. This whole video is totally gonna shock you. These ideas are so good. And this first one, we're gonna make a beautiful flower spring display. And the first thing you want to do is take an X-Acto knife and just cut the handle off flush. We're also going to then start taking all the flower heads off of the stems that we bought. And here's a little tip: whenever you're picking your flowers, make sure they're flowers that are kind of flat heads. You don't want like 2-tiered flowers that are like the daffodils or the lilies. That way they all kind of lay flat once we put them onto this knee pad. And then the best way to secure your flowers into the foam is take your hot glue gun, kind of push it in, it'll melt a hole in there, fill up the hole with some of the hot glue, add a little bit of hot glue on top of the pad, and then push down your stems into those holes. Now, I thought I was gonna add a ton of flowers in here, so I was starting to bunch them together, and honestly, because the flowers spread out, you don't need to push them together quite so much. So I did start spreading these out, but I'm gonna do 3 rows, and I bought 5 colors, so we're just gonna continue on with a pattern here. So I did yellow, purple, this coral color. Next, I'll do this kind of magenta color, and then a white, and continue on with that pattern, doing 3 rows down and then filling it up all the way across. I found this is a great way to kind of easily create a random pattern without having to put a lot of thought into it. So we're keeping with a pattern, but doing 5 different colors in 3 different rows. Once you keep going from top to bottom, it is going to fill up nicely, be randomly spaced out, and also evenly spaced out too. So look how nice this came together, good and full, nice and random, but still really cohesive looking. Now we want to put a cute little saying on the front of this. So I picked up this hello sign at the Dollar Tree. It came on a wood stand though, but no problem. It also has some screws in the back, so it's super easy. Take a screwdriver, take the screws out, and then just pop the metal piece off. We are going to keep that wood piece because that's going to be great for crafting on another day. So I'm going to add some hot glue to the back of this metal sign, but I would also recommend adding some E6000, a heavier duty adhesive, to make sure that it permanently bonds to the flowers. And at the bottom of this metal sign, there's that little platform metal piece. And so what I did is I kind of pulled the flowers away so it could tuck itself in, you won't really see it, and then laid the word part at the top of the flowers and just pressed it on there, kind of fluffed the flowers around it, and look how cute this turned out. I love this, and I think this would be another great idea to do even on a larger scale. For this next idea, which is so good, we are going to need 2 of these foam pads. We're gonna cut both of them down the center, and we're also gonna cut the handle off, and we're gonna cut the second one a little bit smaller. Let me show you what I mean. So like I said, we're going to cut these in half, but we need to do a little bit of work first. We're going to cut the handle off. We're going to flip this to the other side, and we're going to cut the other side, the other end off flat too. It's rounded, and we want these to have nice square edges. So just cut that off to where it starts to kind of go up and have a nice corner on it, so you don't have to cut too much off. And then we're going to find the middle and cut down the long side of this perfectly in half so that both sides are the same. We're going to repeat this process for the second knee pad, so you'll end up with 4 of these, but we're only going to need 3 of them. 2 of them leave alone, we are done with those, but the third one, you're going to cut that one in half too, or you want these to be about 5.5 inches wide. Next up is painting. So I have some white chalk paint here. It's going to adhere to that foam really great for us. So what you want to do is make sure you are painting the top, both of the short sides, the front and the back, but you don't necessarily have to paint the bottom. Now, I do highly recommend using a foam paintbrush. My favorite ones are from Michaels, and I'll link them down below for you. They can take the beating, and they're ones that you can wash and reuse over and over again. So once you get your first coat of paint on here, let it dry. I did take a heat gun to mine. Just be very, very careful. These will kind of melt a little bit and bend and warp, so you don't want that to happen. But do 2 coats to get good coverage, and then you're not going to believe, yep, I found these handles at Dollar Tree. They have lots of different options, but I thought these would be cute for the style that I was going for, and at $1.25, that's a great deal for metal hardware. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay this, kind of center it on one of the short sides of the short pieces. Take your pencil, mark where you're going to be putting those holes, and then a little tip here is take your hot glue gun, melt holes. You don't have to use the glue, just use the hot glue gun to melt holes into that foam. Use the screws that came with your hardware, push them all the way through the foam to the back side, and then use a screwdriver to attach your hardware onto the screws. If you enjoy projects like this, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. That tells me you're enjoying this and you want me to make more videos like this in the future. So we're going to do that for both of those shorter pieces, and then we can start putting this box together. So to do that, we're going to take a long side and a short side and butt them up together. Use some hot glue. Wouldn't hurt to use little E6000 here too. What you're going to do is make sure the longer side, the end is showing of the longer side, and butt the shorter side up against the side of the longer piece. Then go ahead and do that with the other 2 pieces to make a rectangle. It's looking pretty good, right? Who would have known this was a knee pad? Well, we still aren't done yet. We need to grab out some foam board. This was leftover I had from the Dollar Tree to make the bottom of this box so it's functional. So we're gonna take this, lay it on the corner, and then take a pencil and trace out the other 2 sides. Take your knife, cut it out, and then use some hot glue to insert it into the bottom. And here is our finished box. Look how cute it is. I staged it with some beads, some candles, a plant, and a little basket in the back there. But depending on where you put this, you can use and stage this wherever you like. Add some flowers for spring, use it in your kitchen, use it as a centerpiece. So many ideas, and holy moly, how cute is that? While we're doing some building, let's do some more. I grabbed 2 of these wood crates from Dollar Tree, and we're gonna add this knee pad in the center of them to give it a handle. So I laid one of the boxes on the front of the knee pad, traced around it, and made sure that the handle was kind of sticking out above it. Take your knife and cut that out, cut the bottom straight, and then cut all the way from the bottom to the top on the sides. So this is what your foam piece is going to look like once you get it cut out. And now we can start putting this all together. So take some E6000 glue along with your hot glue, put it on one of the longer sides of the first crate, and then lay your foam into the glue, making sure you kind of lay it flat on your work surface so everything lines up straight for you. The handle is going to be sticking out the top. We're going to repeat that with the second crate. All right, so here's our crates with the handle all put together. You want to let that sit for a little bit, make sure the glue starts secure a little bit, and then we're going to take this outside. I'm going to use this spray paint that I got from Walmart. I'll link it down below for you. We're going to give it a couple coats of that. We're going to make this look more like wood versus, you know, weird pieces all put together. It'll kind of tie it all together. So here's after that's dried, after 2 coats. Grab out my handy dandy burnt umber acrylic paint, and we're gonna use a chip brush to give this sort of a textured look. I wanted this to look more like wood than just like flat spray paint. So this is gonna give it some texture. You're just gonna dry brush just a tiny bit of that acrylic paint onto your box and onto the handle, and don't forget the inside too. I am loving the rustic look of this. You could use this in so many different ways, but this is just one idea. Take it into your kitchen, add some napkins, some bottles, salt shaker, grinder. It looks really, really cute, and I love that it's functional too. Next up, I grabbed this really pretty kind of sheer fabric scarf from Dollar Tree. Kind of has those spring colors and vibes to it. I want to show you how you're going to take this, combine it with this, and make a really cool bulletin board. So we need to do some cutting on this. We're going to cover this with that fabric. So we want a nice flat surface for this to wrap around, so we don't want all the wiggle pieces, and we also don't want the handle here. So we're going to cut the handle off, we're going to cut the bottom off, and we're also going to cut the waves off the sides. So here is that plain rectangle that we're needing. We're gonna pull out our fabric. Dollar Tree has fabric in their crafting section too, so you can use that as well. But the reason I picked this sheer scarf is it's a little bit more see-through, and I figured it'd be a little bit easier to be able to put push pins into, and it still covers up the foam so you can't see it. And to cover our foam, we're just gonna use some hot glue here, loosely pull down the top and adhere that into the hot glue. And the bottom side, whenever you add some hot glue on there, you're gonna pull the bottom tight, and that is going to stretch the fabric over the foam. So once you get the long sides done, then go ahead and work on the shorter sides, doing the same thing, just cut off any excess. So one other thing we're gonna do is embellish it with some rope, again, just from Dollar Tree. Pick some of that up, and it's just gonna add a little bit more detail and fun and style to this bulletin board. So take your hot glue, run it around the perimeter of your foam, lay that rope into the hot glue, and go all the way around. This rope does tend to unravel, so I would suggest taking your hot glue and just adding a little bit to the ends, and that'll keep it from fraying. I love that Dollar Tree also has a nice selection of push pins, so I grabbed these from the store and we're going to use those on this bulletin board to make it functional. Now I had some leftover foam from these projects that I didn't want to go to waste, so we're going to use it as sort of like a styrofoam. I mean, why not, right? So I also had grabbed this wall planter from Dollar Tree and thought, you know what, this is perfect. It's kind of hard to cut styrofoam and get it down in there, so we're going to use this foam and just cut it to the size of the opening. I cut it a little bit smaller than the line that I drew, so it would fall right down into the middle there. And we're just gonna push that in there, and that's gonna help hold the flower or the succulent that I also got from Dollar Tree down into this planter. So the succulent is also from Dollar Tree. It was a little bit long, the stem was, so I cut that down. I'm going to use my hot glue gun here to kind of start a hole. That way I can tuck that stem down into the styrofoam, or this, in this case, the foam pad that we're using as styrofoam. We're going to cover up the pad there with some river rocks that are also from Dollar Tree. So easy to do and a great way to use up things so it doesn't go to waste. I hope that this video has inspired you to head to the store and look at things just a little bit differently, a little bit out of the box, get creative, find some inspiration, and do your own creative DIYs today too. I would love to know which one of today's projects was your favorite. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up button. That helps out my channel so much. Subscribe if you are new, and I will see you back here next week for more budget-friendly DIYs. And I'm sure you're looking for more spring inspiration, so I'll have 2 more videos popping up on your screen. Pick your favorite, head on over, and I'll see you there. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Have a creative day.